Today, we're going to be looking into solving equations by adding or subtracting. So, let's look at some vocabulary. An equation is a mathematical statement that two expressions are equal. A solution of an equation is the value of the variable that makes the equation true. So let's look at some inverse operation. The inverse of addition, or the opposite of addition, is going to be subtraction. And the inverse of subtraction, or the opposite, is addition. So it's what we're going to do to undo that operation. So let's look at some examples on solving equations by using addition. So the first one, we have x minus 10 equals 4. We have minus 10, so we're subtracting, so we have to do the opposite since our goal is to get x by itself. So we're going to add 10 to both sides. It cancels out the 10s, leaves us with x to equal 4 plus 10 is 14. So the goal is to isolate the variable. Let's try the next one. 2/5 equals m minus 1/5. We have m on the right-hand side, so we need to get rid of everything else on the right-hand side to leave m by itself. So we have minus 1/5. Do the opposite, we're going to add 1/5 to both sides. Remember, what you do to one side of the equation, you have to do to the other. We have to keep it balanced. So it cancels out. Bring down your m, equaling 2/5 plus 1/5. Add the numerators. 2 plus 1 is 3. Keep the denominator of 5. So we get m to equal 3/5. Number 3, we have n minus 3.2 equals 5.6. Or in other words, n minus 3 2/10 minus 5 6/10. So we have to get n by itself, and we have minus 3.2. We have to do the opposite. We're going to add it to both sides. It cancels it out, leaves us just with n to equal 5.6 plus 3.2 gives us 8.8. 8 8/10 is what n equals. Okay, we have negative 6 equals k minus 6. We have k on the right-hand side. We have a minus 6 with it. We have to get rid of minus 6. So we do the opposite and add 6 to both sides. It cancels out, leaves us with k to equal negative 6 plus 6 gives us 0. So that was for using addition to solve the equation. Now we're going to look at a couple other problems. In these problems, we have to use subtraction. So let's look at the problem. X plus 7 equals 9. X we have to get by itself, so we have a plus 7. Opposite of addition is subtraction, so we're going to subtract 7 from both sides. Again, what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So it cancels the 7s out. Get x to equal 9 minus 7 gives us 2. Number 2, we have 0.7 equals r plus 0.4. We have r plus 0.4, so we have to subtract 0.4 from both sides. It cancels out. We bring down our r equals 0.7 minus 0.4. 7 minus 4 is 3. So we have 0.3. Our next one, we have d plus 1/2 equals 1. So we have addition, we have to do the opposite, and subtract. So we're going to subtract 1/2 from both sides. It cancels out. We bring down our d. So d equals 1 minus 1/2 gives us 1/2. So d equals 1/2. The last problem here, we have -5 equals k plus 5. We have k plus 5, we have to do the opposite, and subtract 5 from both sides. Cancels the 5s out, we're left with k to equal -5 minus 5. So if you think of the number line, we're at -5 and we're subtracting 5 more. So we add 5 and 5 to give us 10 and we keep the negative sign. So we have k to equal -10. Now there are 4 problems here. I want you to pause the video, do these 4 problems, and then come back and check your work. Okay, let's check our work. For number 1, we have -8 plus b equals 2. We have -8, think of -8. We have to move that to the other side. So we're going to do the opposite and add 8 to both sides. Cancels out. We bring down our b, and then we do 2 plus 8, and that is 10. Number 2, 2.3 plus m equals 7. 2.3 is positive. So we have to do the opposite and subtract 2.3 from both sides. It cancels out. We bring down our m equals 7 minus 2.3 gives us 4.7. Number 3, we have -3/4 plus z equals 5/4. We have a -3/4. We have to do the opposite of subtraction, and we're going to add 3/4 to both sides. It cancels. We're left with z to equal 5/4 plus 3/4. Add the numerator. 5 plus 3 is 8. Keep the denominator of 4. Now 8/4 we can simplify. We can divide 4 out of the numerator and the denominator. So we get z to equal 2. Our last problem, we have -11 plus x equals 33. -11, same thing as -11. We have to do the opposite, so we're going to add 11 to both sides. It cancels. We get x to equal 33 plus 11 gives us 44. So that is the lesson on solving one-step equations by using addition or subtraction. Please reach out if you have any questions.